Buongiorno from our home in Sicily.
Salve, amici.
You know, Sicily, land of the sun, but guess what? It's not always sunny. So what happens when it's raining? And it does happen. Here we are in May, and we did get a bunch of rain.
Let me tell you something. For you folks visiting, there are three types of visitors, but the biggest visitor group are the group visitors, okay? Make sure you understand that to read the daily forecast. I think that's the most important thing. If you're traveling on your own, double read the forecast, okay? Because it changes, like Mark Twain says, if you don't like the weather around here, wait 5 minutes, it's going to change.
Exactly, and especially, you know, Mount Etna. Mount Etna has its own weather system, and it can be dangerous going up there. So wherever you're traveling to, wherever it's visiting, make sure you check with the forecast, but also be aware that when sometimes it rains here, it really, really rains. Cats and dogs, and I'm talking deluge of rain, and there could be flooding, some roads that are not passable, so just be aware. So now we have a few things for you guys to do in case you're coming here to Sicily and you find yourself on a rainy day. And a lot of these we've talked about in past videos. If you're here in Catania and you have a rainy day, why not check out the World War II Museum in downtown Catania? Now, it's in a structure that was former mills, and in that structure each building has a different type of a museum. There's also the film museum, I believe the toy museum, and also the Allied Landing or World War II Museum. It is probably one of the coolest museums I've ever been to. We've of course done videos on it, and I'll leave you a link, but I would say World War II Museum in Catania, definitely a must-do.
Every major city, Palermo, Syracuse, Catania, Trapani, even Castelbuono, Messina, they all have wonderful museums of varying types, ranging from archaeological museums. Don't forget in Agrigento, for heaven's sakes, there's a million of them. So what do you like? Do you like flowers? Do you like cars? Do you like ballet? Do you like dance? There's a museum for every taste here.
Well, you know, it's so interesting because I often say that Sicily is an outdoor museum, but you're right, Al, there's museums all over. So now let me tell you about another museum that we like to go, and that is the Sicilian Cart Museum. We've taken you to our friend Giuseppe Giuffrida's place many, many times. He's got a great collection of Sicilian carts. He's also got some puppets. He's got beautiful paintings, and his dad collects cars. So he has a great collection of antique cars.
So in the Sicilian Cart, you can see a lot of story, religious story or popular story, but the most popular story is the Chanson de Roland, the main story, the same story of Sicilian puppets theater. So the story of Charlemagne, King Carlomagne, French warriors who defend their land against Saracen warriors. And you can see other stories like Napoleon or the life of Jesus Christ. Popular story to attract the customers and sell wine, fruit, oil more easily, so to attract the customers.
That is a great day if you are not able to go sightseeing, maybe up to Mount Etna. Why not get in touch with him or send me a message and I'll help hook you up.
There are cart museums also in Palermo and sprinkled throughout the island. If that's your thing, the carts, then just do some research. The other thing is, and I want to talk about this if I could, the so-called Museum of the Puppets, Musei di Pupi, okay? You know, the marionettes, they are spectacularly unbelievable, okay? Again, Palermo area, Trapani area, Sciacca area, of course, Catania and Syracuse. So there are many different types of museums. It's not just like, you know, a museum. It's what you like is what's important.
Yeah. And, by the way, there's a beautiful museum in Acciaiuoli, a puppet museum that also has some Sicilian carts. And again, we've done a video on that as well, and the great curator inside that speaks English and explains about the history of this form of entertainment, this ancient form of entertainment, but for sure, they are sprinkled all over the place. So now let me talk to you about one other museum over here in the Catania area. Let's say, again, you want to go up to Etna, but it's saying super rainy, you can't go up to Refugio Sapienza, which is where the craters are, or perhaps you had a guided tour, trekking, and you can't go because it's raining. Well, guess what? There's an actual Etna museum, and that's in Via Grande. It's a very, very interesting place. They talk about the Etna flows, how it happens, how Etna was born, all the chemicals that are involved, the animals that are in the Etna Museum, the animals that are on Mount Etna, the plants that are indigenous to the area. So that's a great spot to visit.
Hey, is there a fishing museum around?
There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. There's one in Aspra, and that's the Anchovy Museum, and it chronicles the important industry of anchovy fishing in that area. Very beautiful. It not only chronicles the fishing, but also has some Sicilian carts and other very cultural pieces. The other one, in Castellammare del Golfo, is inside the castle. Now that's
a good one.
Now that is not just fishing. That one, the one right in the heart of Castellammare del Golfo, it also chronicles the ancient way of making pasta and bread. In the mills, there's also some old records, some old newspapers. So that's a really cool museum, by the way, the one in Castellammare del Golfo.
I have one for you.
Where?
I'll give you a hint.
Wait a second. Are you talking about a museum?
Museum.
Fishing one?
No.
Oh, wait, there's another one.
Wait a minute.
In Architrezza.
Well,
There's a boat-making one.
There's a boat-making one.
There's a boat-making museum. Well, it's not a museum. It's somewhere you can visit indoors. All right, go for it.
The Joe DiMaggio Museum.
That's a good one.
Isola della Femmina. Wonderful people there, and don't forget to get a cannolo there. Oh, they're the best
when we say
cannolos,
museum, that's kind of a small room that has some memorabilia from Joe DiMaggio, but that's a really good one.
The point is this, E. In terms of cultural stuff that you want to see on a rainy day now we're talking about, Sicily is replete with museums. Of course, in the middle of the island around the Etna area, or you can go shopping. What's the name of that big place?
The outlet.
At the outlet mall, smack dab in the middle of Sicily, right outside of Etna, is the outlet mall. Is that what it's called? Sicilia's outlet mall?
Yeah, but if it's raining, it's kind of a bummer going from shop to shop.
Well, you have to bring an umbrella.
I have another one.
Go ahead.
Oh my God. The one right in our backyard in Acci Castello. Inside that castle is also an archaeological museum with stuff dating back to the Greek and Roman times. It is really cool. Thousands of years old. These remains that were found here in Acci Castello. And they're from all over Sicily. You can see that's from Priolo, Melilli. Here's Buccheri.
It's a moving island.
I love these museums inside the castles.
Here's what I know, okay? Honestly, you shouldn't stay in your hotel room and watch Netflix. That's number one, okay? Really, you shouldn't. And in terms of other things to do, well, do I have to say eating and drinking? Or just eating and drinking? Or going on a wine tour? Right?
Now,
all over the place.
Wait, let's name some more places. How about Palazzo Biscari in downtown Catania? That's a good indoor place to visit.
You're talking about a museum, right?
Well, it's not a museum, it's a palazzo, but it's a good rainy day activity. These are rainy day activities that we're talking about. Now, here's another one inside the castle in the Castello Ursino in downtown Catania. Also inside there is a museum of ancient artifacts that were found in the area. Very cool stuff. But here's what I want to say. Watch the weather, because if, Al said don't stay in your hotel room, but if the roads are not passable, well, you might as well stay in your hotel room. Take it as a day of rest. Maybe you've been going. Take it as a day of rest.
The other things too is Sicily has more, outdoor activities, as we all know. There's a whole range of them, from paragliding to swimming, et cetera, et cetera. But there are so many health and fitness centers, indoor, I may add, that you could pay a day's entry fee to get into them. They're all over the place, and they're very good. I think that's another thing. And even for golf, for you golfaholics, some of these driving ranges and golf courses have those indoor golf things where you hit the ball against like a big mat, and you want to play Pebble Beach or whatever. You press the button, and you can play golf or something like that too. There's a lot of different things you can do. The cinemas, they're all over the place. Okay,
that's a good cultural thing.
The
Except
cinemas
if they're in
Italian, but you'll get the gist of it, and it's kind of great in my view to watch an American movie that you've already seen in the States, like say Gladiator 2, for example, right? Now all of a sudden you're watching it in Italian. Okay, sometimes they're subtitled, mostly times they're just dubbed, but they're hilarious. It's a really good take when you go to a cinema, just to get, or doesn't have to be a cinema. How about a concert, an indoor concert? Theatre Massimo, for example.
Because those are evening concerts. You have to have
Evening concerts, right. You have to get a ticket, though, for those things.
Hey, Mr. Sicily.
Hey, you know why I wore this shirt today? This is a brand new Under Armour t-shirt that is available now, where?
On our shop, and so is your hat.
On our shop, our hats too. This is now a double XL. It's so roomy. Really, and we have different colors as well,
really
right?
Soft.
And it's nice and soft. It's not like a t-shirt. So what else is going on there?
A few weeks ago, we did a video about going to the mall and shopping at the mall. And yes, there are malls in Sicily. I know that surprised many of you guys. But how about that as an indoor activity, going to the mall? They have great Italian shops, cool things to find, and even just walking around and taking in how locals live. That's a great stop if it's raining out.
I think it's important that you go visit a mall, not to buy anything, but just to see the scope of the commerce that's now available in Sicily. It's no longer your grandfather's country. That I promise you, it really isn't. There are so many other things to do in Sicily other than what we just talked about.
Great. How about a cooking demo?
Cooking
That's
demonstration.
That's a good indoor thing.
Yeah.
Why not? There's so many people doing cooking demos all over the island. And of course, if you write us an email, we'll hook you up to some people.
How about spiritual things? There's a lot of spiritual things. You know what I find over here a lot? I like these natural herb and supplement places that have things that they don't have available in the United States. Right now, I've been hooked on this stuff called black seed oil.
Didn't you get that in the United States?
No, they sell it here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Black seed oil. If
That's
you can
cool
Google
stuff.
that thing, it's just unbelievable how... Look at me. I'm a shell of my former self. No, I'm serious. It's just good stuff. Hey, Esther, before you continue on talking about these wonderful things to do during a rainy day or snowy day. No, there's no snowy day. One thing I wanted to thank people is for the many people who have joined our community. We have a lot of people now who pay on a monthly basis either $1.99 or $2.99 to help us defray our over-the-road expenses. For example, just a couple days ago, I was literally in the province of Messina, and she was someplace else, I don't know where, Ragusa, or where the heck were you this week? You were like at the other end. We're both simultaneously doing videos, and it helps us out, okay? And the more video,
we really appreciate you guys joining
the more
us.
video work, the more video that we can get in, especially in the smaller towns. And that's another thing I wanted to just talk about, what she does with these ancestral villages. Esther, can you please tell them 1 second, please, about the Grosso family and what happened with them this week?
Oh, they went to Rometta in the province of Messina, and what an incredible event they had with the Sicilian family. So, and they had a big, beautiful lunch together. What a great group that was. You know,
How
I
many
love
people
all
was
the
at that
people.
lunch? How many people were at that lunch in
I
this
think
small
about
town?
26, and believe me, the entire town knew that they were there because apparently it was raining on that day, and people started coming out with their umbrellas, and then they couldn't get to one of the churches that they wanted to visit, and people pulling up cars and helping. And so anyway, it's a beautiful thing. And then I also went this week to Reale, which I've never been, in the province of Messina. Now, wait a second, before we move on. That place has a couple of museums, which I was shocked
Messina,
about.
right.
No, Reale.
Ah, okay. Oh, Reale, yeah,
There was
yeah.
a civic museum, a moto museum, so that was very cool. We didn't get to go inside. We waited for the opening, but I guess that was the day we were there is the day that they were closed. And by the way, that's another thing to pay attention to, because some of these museums, you know, they'll open on Saturday, so they won't open on Monday or Tuesday. Everyone has a day off, so make sure you check with that. You know, at the end of the day, when you're coming here to Sicily, whether it's nice outside or even it's a little bit of rain, there's plenty to do. There's something for everyone here in Sicily. As I said many times, outdoor museum, or if not, some of these indoor activities are really culturally important.
You know what happens to these groups, these big travel groups that come in here, or even a family group, for example, is we want to show them so much that at a certain point in time, they get to have what they call, I guess, sensory overload. You know, we go to one beautiful town, and then we go to another beautiful town, and then we go to another beautiful town, and people are still processing that first beautiful town.
Yeah.
Or the second, and it's not until they get back to the States, and they take a big, deep breath, they unpack, and they begin to look at the videos that they've taken or the photos that they've taken, and it transports them back. Now, she just mentioned the Grosso. This fellow, Philip Grosso, he's over 80 years old, right? He wasn't going to come because he's been here several times. He flew in here to be here for 4 days. From where? Arizona?
Wow. Yeah.
From Arizona, so he can have this reunion with his family in Rometta, all right? I mean, it blew me away. I saw him the next day. I went up to Knox's to pay my respects to this man because he and I are now like this, okay? And his first cousin, James, who I met, were like this as well. And I saw the look of complete contentment on Philip's face. And the same thing happened last year when I was in Trecastagni, and Joe Ganji and his two boys, he was actually my cousin, I took them to his grandfather's house in Trecastagni, and they haven't stopped talking about it. They really...
Back to Phil for a second. I tip my hat to him because here he is, 82, maybe 83. And, you know, he has a few health issues, but boy, he was gung-ho about coming here and joining his cousins and nephews and nieces, and just a beautiful, beautiful, awesome group. Each and every one of those travelers were great. And now Phil and James and his wife Julia and son Jeff and all the other ones that came are now part of our family. So that's what we do here. We bring people around Sicily, then they become part of our family, they become friends, and they keep coming back. So I love my job, and that's quote unquote job. I love it. I love taking people walking to their ancestral home because those are the memorable things that will happen. You know, when we went to Reale, it rained a little bit, like little sprinkles, it wasn't bad. But then the sun came out and we got it in. So anyway, the bottom line is keep your eye on the forecast. Hope this video helped you and gave you some good stuff to do in case of a rainy day. Looking forward to bringing you something top secret next week. Top secret.
You know, my last word of advice is when we do our scheduling for our organized groups, we always come up with what we call a Plan B, which is a rainy day activity. So if you're traveling on your own, not in an organized group, say you and your wife or your husband or your family coming up here, pick up 2 or 3 different Plan Bs
The
to
things
do on
we
a
just
rainy.
spoke about.
Right, Plan Bs. Research them. You can Google them if you want in terms of, oh, I want to go to the museum over there. Google it. You could find out what time it's open, some of the things that you could see. Is it good for kids? Is it not good for kids? Because children, they have different likes and dislikes than the adults
I
do.
think the Etna Museum,
The
everyone
Etna
would love
Museum
that.
is great. Yeah, that's good for kids. But there are different types of museums and activities like that for the youngsters as well. So the point is, don't stay in that room and don't just.
Unless it's going to be a deluge.
Yeah, if it's going to be a deluge, obviously you want to.
Yeah, definitely. Also, talk to your hotel, talk to other people, other locals,
Yeah.
because they'll tell you whether to go out or not. On that note, thank you so much for being here. Buona domenica if you're watching on Sunday. Chin chin and arrivederci.
I want to say,
Ciao.
sa benedica a tutti. May you go with the Lord. Ciao.